In this video, I'm going to demonstrate the process for creating the Gnome applique using the Accuquilt die, along with the Gnome accessories die. Now, in order to use the accessories, you have to use and have the Gnome die, because the body, the nose, and the feet are on this die. The accessories allows you to have a beard and mustache and a different hat. And if you want to do the female gnome, this is the hair for the female gnome. There are embroidery files that go with these that allow you to embroidery the outline on your backing fabric, place the piece, it will embroider around that piece, and then it moves on to the next one. So in order to prepare for this, first I've created a number of sections of background fabric. I'm using just a plain white, and I've added some interfacing on the back, stabilizer. And then for the fabrics, I selected, because I'm just practicing, I pulled out some scrap fabrics and selected 4 different colors, and then added two-sided Fusible Web on the back of this. And this is what I'm going to cut my gnome shapes out of. Now, one issue here, because I'm using a Janome 350E, the embroidery file requires or comes with a setting for a larger hoop, which does not work on this machine. So to address that, I opened up the files in my embroidery software, changed the hoop, saved the file. Now I can do it on this hoop, which is slightly smaller than the hoop that comes in the design. Another thing to be aware of when you're cutting these shapes, it only has 1 foot. So if you want to create the feet from a specific color, or you need to cut multiple feet, remember, it'll only cut 1 foot per layer of fabric. So if you want multiples of the same color, you've got to cut a small square, stack them on the die on the cutter, and cut the feet out. The same idea if you want the nose to be a specific color that's different from the clothing and the beard, then you need to do the same thing for the nose. Cut out individual nose shapes. Another small issue that I didn't notice until I was in the process of assembling an accessory gnome is that the hat on the die and the hat on the embroidery file are the embroidery file hat is flipped in the opposite direction. They do mention this in the instructions that some embroidery files are flipped or facing the opposite direction from the die, so you either have to place your fabric face down or flip the file on your embroidery machine. When you have all your different fabrics, shapes cut, you can begin the process of assembling it using the embroidery machine. Now I've gone ahead and cut an extra pair of feet. One thing to remember, since you have the webbing on the back, each layer counts as 2. So you can only cut 3 pieces maximum at a time, and if your fabric is thicker, then you need to reduce it by 1 layer. You can only cut 2 at a time, otherwise you may jam your die. just for my own reference, I mark the starting point just to be sure that it's lined up correctly. Now in this case I'm using a thread color that is contrasting to all these colors because for demonstration purposes I want to be able to see the color of the thread. So I've got the design here, and it's going to start with the feet. So what it's done here is it's done the outline of the feet. Got to be careful not to disturb your backing or displace it. Just got to get rid of these extra threads here. I'm going to take two of my little feet. The easiest way to get this backing off the paper is just to score it lightly with a pin. And it'll peel right off. Just got to be careful not to actually peel the interfacing off. Now these shoes do have a sense, the flat bottom, and you want to try to place them as accurately as possible within that outline. So now you have the 2 feet placed within the outlines. Now this is a double-sided sticky fusible web. You can use it as is, or if you want to ensure that you have a good permanent bond, you press it with your iron or your mini iron if you have one. So I've gone ahead and heat pressed these on. So now it's finished embroidering the feet, and if you notice here, it did embroider the entire foot fabric. That is because the body is actually going to come and sit on here, so this will reduce the thickness and the thread usage. Now it's going to outline the body shape. So as you can see here, the feet are not fully embroidered, the body is actually going to come and fill in that gap. So now I have the body placed on the outline. I'll go and spin iron on. Now I'm just going to put it back. It's very important not to disturb your machine so as not to knock out the alignment of the applique. So again, same thing as with the feet. You did not embroider the top part of the body because now the beard is going to come here. I just went out and cut out another body part for the accessory gnome. Now we're going to select a beard. And we'll go with this color. So I'm going to use a nice flower hat. You just need to scratch this paper very lightly in order to break it. You don't want to go too hard. You'll cut through the web. Have one of those. And there you have one completed gnome applique. Now I'm going to continue with the accessories gnome, and when I get to the hat, I'll come back Want to see if I can invert the hat. So now
we're
on
at
the
the
machine
hat.
for the accessories gnome. I have two hats, one facing another direction. I'm going to... Okay, well, it ended up mirroring the entire design, but now I'm going to see if this is going to work, because I did mirror the body. Hopefully this will line up correctly. And it doesn't. Because when it mirrored it, it actually moved the entire body over. So that's a no-go in that sense. I'm going to undo this, fix it. So I got that removed. Now we're going to start over again. And now for the nose. And there you have it. The accessories gnome. Now, of course, I got to take the inner facing off and then square up the blocks. But it works. Makes for a nice end product. Now here I'm using the satin stitch. There's two other styles of stitches that are, one is considerably looser and the other one is a little bit more dense, but not quite as dense as this satin stitch. You have to look at it and decide what look you want to have on your finished product. This of course takes a lot more time and a lot more stitches, therefore a lot more thread. And that's it for now.